Hey, this is Brandon Allen from the Business Blueprint, and today I want to talk about an overlooked piece of leadership, and that is the ability to manage through crisis and change. And when we look at a business, hopefully you have the type of business that's always growing and evolving, and with that comes change. What worked for us yesterday aren't always going to be the same things that work for us today. And our ability to manage and lead through that change is going to determine whether the change that we have or the crises that go on are going to be detrimental and be a distraction for our team, or if it's going to be something that we're going to learn and grow from and come out better on the other side. And I was just talking to a leader about this recently with a piece of technology that they implemented into their business. They had hoped that the technology would make their lives easier. But as we all know, anyone who's ever implemented a new piece of technology, especially enterprise-wide, we all know that that can be a very distracting thing. There's always a lot of things that go wrong that we don't anticipate, and it can be very frustrating, not only for the leader, but also for the team. And so when I was talking with this leader, he mentioned how fearful his team was through this process. And it led me to give him the first piece of advice that I want to give you in leading in change in a crisis, and that is number one, communicate. As a leader, you can't overly communicate not only what we're doing, but why we're doing it, how you expect it to impact people, good or bad. And this is probably something that leaders are a little guilty of, because we can be very overly optimistic and we always think that we're going to come out on top, and that's a good thing. But the reality is there's always issues that come up with change, and there's always things that we need to manage and be aware of. When we don't share that with our team, it creates a situation where they feel like you're holding out on me, you're kind of holding back, and now I've eroded my trust level with my team a little bit because of my lack of communication. So when you're in the midst of a crisis or you've got change going on in your business, make sure that you're communicating at a high level and be as explicit in what you're doing as possible. The second thing in change or crisis is to assess. And what I want to do is I want to take the landscape and really assess, what is it that's going on in my business and how is this going to affect the big picture? What are the things that are going to go well? Why do I have, what is the evidence that I have to support that this is a good idea? How does this fit with our overall goals and strategy? How does this fit with our big picture mission, vision, and values? All these things need to be assessed, and this is a great opportunity, as I talked about communication, to bring your team in and get their thoughts and feedback on this process. And the nice thing is when we plan change and we bring our team along for the ride in that process of discovery and decision making about where we're going to go and why, now they feel like they're a part of the process and they don't feel so disconnected from what's happening on a day-to-day basis. But the last thing I want you to do as a leader is anticipate. And anticipation is so important. So we talked about communicating what could go wrong and really assessing what's going on, but good leaders anticipate. And when we have new things that we're doing, we've got to make sure that we're anticipating what the potential good results could be, but what the potential failures could be as well, so that people really understand what we're doing. And if we can't anticipate, we can't communicate effectively and at the highest level that we're capable of communicating at. And so think about how you can anticipate what's going on. And this is why for leaders, if you don't have quiet time, if you haven't created space to work on your business, to work on your business unit, you're going to miss those opportunities to really anticipate and think through what's going on. It's really easy to create change and then jump right into change without really stepping back and thinking about what are the ramifications, good or bad, to this change. What are we doing right now in this crisis, and how can we get ahead of it so that it's not causing us to be more reactionary than we are being a creator in our business. So think about that. Next time you have change, that you want to implement change, next time you're in a crisis, which is bound to happen if you've been a business owner for any number of years, think about how you can be a better communicator, how you can assess the situation better, and how you can anticipate more what's on the horizon. Thanks again for listening to this tip. This is Brandon Allen from the Business Blueprint.